Hello everyone, welcome to Anime No Me, and thank you for joining us for another One Piece video. Now that we're approaching the final saga of One Piece, the Straw Hats are going to need to get stronger in order to face all the powerful enemies that are eventually going to come their way. During the Wano arc, some of the Straw Hats got a huge increase in their abilities, such as Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, and even Nico Robin got to show off what she could do with her Devil Fruit powers along with some added Haki ability. However, some of the other Straw Hats didn't get the same kind of evolution as these other characters did. This means that in this current arc, they might be able to get an upgrade with their abilities, especially since they have the help of Dr. Vegapunk. So today's video, we're going to talk about the possibility of the other Straw Hats getting even stronger and getting certain upgrades with the help of Vegapunk and his inventions, and how this could happen and why Vegapunk will help him in the first place. But before we dive into the video, if you're new to the channel or even if you've watched a bunch of our videos, we'd be absolutely honored if you'd leave us a like. And even subscribe and maybe leave us a comment letting us know what you thought of the video. It really helps us out and motivates us to make more content. And if you'd like to help us out in the bigger way, consider sharing this video or another one of your favorites with a friend. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So my friends, in this current arc, we have finally met the greatest scientist in the world, Dr. Vegapunk. And during the entire work, we've only had mentions here and there about it, but we've never gotten to see his real identity or learned about his real intentions, making this character all the more mysterious. But now that the Straw Hats have finally met him, we realize that he's not a bad person and doesn't even really work for the world government. Vegapunk just needed the resources to achieve his goals and make certain inventions come to life. What's more, we've learned that his true goals are actually quite benevolent, in which he wishes to unify the entire world by sharing all of his knowledge with all human beings and offering resources to everyone, such as unlimited energy. In the first few chapters of the Egghead Island arc, we could see many possible failed creations as well as inventions that were a great success made by not only the original Vegapunk, but his satellite punks that have the same level of knowledge and intelligence as he does. Vegapunk was able to create something like a lightsaber, although it didn't really do its job because the saber just seems to attract bugs. And Vegapunk was also able to create mechanical sea monsters, which have immense destructive power. He was even able to create the Vegaforce 1, an extremely large robot that has incredible strength and has the ability to fly, and is based on a large robot that was created during the Void Century and was hidden on Egghead Island. And since then, he's also been able to create several combat and utility weapons in which they are quite amazing. Because of the kind of scientist he is, and because of his vast knowledge from everything he's studied around the world, he can create different weapons, and there's even a possibility for Vegapunk to be able to help the Straw Hats get even stronger with what they already have in their power set. This possibility has become even more realistic because of the sentence spoken by Franky in the most recent chapters, in which he asks Vegapunk to take a look at Franky's Shogun and the Thousand Sunny, which means Franky wants Vegapunk to help further improve his various technologies and his own knowledge, enabling the Straw Hats to have the highest level of state-of-the-art technology while they travel the rest of the seas. But before we get into the types of weapons that the Straw Hats might be able to get through Vegapunk, let's talk about the reasons that would lead Vegapunk to improve the Straw Hats' weapons in the first place. As we know, currently the world government wants Vegapunk to have his life taken because of his great knowledge about the Void Century, so they've ordered CP0 to take his life and his various artifacts and inventions as soon as possible. However, in trying to fulfill this mission, CP0 is being impeded by the Straw Hats, who are on the island besides Vegapunk, and have been protecting him from any threat that tries to take the life of the great scientist. But because they weren't able to accomplish their mission, CP0 then had to call in the Navy for support, as there is a Yonko on Egghead Island, something that could be a great danger if the situation got out of hand. So Admiral Kizaru is currently en route to Egghead to prevent an even bigger battle from happening between the world government and a Yonko crew. And in this way, the Navy is going to surround the island so that the Straw Hats and not even Vegapunk can make escape from the island. Now, it's not clear whether the Navy actually knows what CP0's real goals are. I mean, they're going to Egghead just to contain the great situation that Luffy and the Straw Hats may end up causing, in addition to helping CP0 in supporting the conflict. But as he's being helped by the Straw Hats, Vegapunk appears to be truly grateful and comfortable in the company of these pirates, even sharing his knowledge about the Lost Century and his theories on devil fruits and how they came to be, and even his bigger goal of how he wants to change the world. In this more recent chapter of 1070, we see that Vegapunk and the Straw Hats are packing up to make an escape off of Egghead Island. But before that, Vegapunk is still talking with the Straw Hats and even Bonnie about very important matters and things he needs to settle. So it seems that after he shares this information and gets some closure, then they'll be able to find a way to escape from the island. And this seems to be a really complicated and even more dangerous moment, because Vegapunk at this very time may be just as worried about finding a way to escape off of Egghead, and the Straw Hats may be sharing this very same fear as well. So these various upgrades to the Straw Hats may only be able to happen if they manage to get Vegapunk out of Egghead safely, without the Navy or CP0 getting in their way. But once the conflict in Egghead is over and Vegapunk has been safely escorted out by the Straw Hats, he's probably going to be in a much better place and state of mind to be able to help the crew of the Straw Hats to not only improve themselves, but truly become the Pirate King's crew, offering equipment upgrades, weapons, and even more to help them get stronger. First off, Franky's probably going to be one of the Straw Hats who's going to benefit most from Vegapunk's technology, because practically all of his weapons and even advancements to his own self are robotic because he is a cyborg. I mean, he may even find a way to further integrate with the Sunny. Vegapunk would be able to improve Franky's body, making practically the same kind of changes he made to Kuma. However, he wouldn't turn Franky completely into a robot, but rather improve the various parts of his mechanical body so he is much more durable, and even make improvements to the power of his current weapons. Vegapunk could also improve the Thousand Sunny, making it faster, durable, and have much more utility than even some of the ways Franky is made, because we've seen all of the different secret compartments and inflatables and submersibles that Franky has on it, but he might even be able to make Franky's Shogun a much more competent and much more interesting creation as well. Next on the list for upgrades would be Usopp. Now, Usopp would be able to become stronger as well because he uses his slingshot called Kabuto in combat, and he has a wide variety of pop greens and different explosives and many different ways of growing ammo on the field. So Vegapunk could not only improve Kabuto, but also give him new weapons, further increase Usopp's ammo repertoire, and even through some cybernetic enhancements to the Kabuto slingshot, Usopp could end up making the projectile faster, bigger, and even increase the impact force and accuracy of the actual weapon itself. All of these upgrades would make it where Usopp's projectiles would be faster than that of a pistol or a rifle, allowing Usopp to be able to hurt enemies from a much greater distance, really upgrading him overall as a sniper. In addition to that, we also have to recognize that Usopp, technically, aside from Franky, is probably one of the smartest and most creative people on the crew. So Vegapunk could give Usopp different ways to build more ammo and different kinds of information where he might even be able to integrate dials, which is a technology we haven't seen since Skypiea, but could prove even more integral to things moving forward. And ultimately, not only does this help Usopp, but this allows him to get closer and closer to his goal of becoming a brave warrior of the sea, because we have to know that they're gonna be on their way to Elbaf. And Elbaf is gonna be a big part of Usopp's final character development arc, and so this would all be setting him up for a really great way to shine when we make it to the land of the giants. And finally, Vegapunk's gonna be able to help Nami become much more powerful with her ability to manipulate lightning and storms, and even may be able to make improvements to her climb attack that's now been integrated with Zeus, which definitely was an upgrade at the end of Onigashima, but we know that this is just the tip of the iceberg with what Nami should be able to do with her weapon. As we saw during the Wano arc, once Zeus merged with Nami's climb attack, it not only expanded her power and abilities, he was actually able to help direct her attacks. And with Vegapunk's great knowledge and his technological and genetic alteration through devil fruits, Vegapunk might be able to do something to her actual climb attack to make it even more powerful. Just think back to Enies Lobby. We've seen that Vegapunk was once able to give Zoan powers of an elephant to a sword, and even give the powers of a dog to a cannon. So who knows what he'll be able to get Zeus to be able to do in the climb attack to make Nami's abilities even stronger. Now, something we don't know and we do need to acknowledge is whether or not Zeus is still in the climb attack, because this hinges on whether or not Big Mom is still alive. After all, she did fall into that lava, so one indication that we might see Big Mom again is if Zeus is still around in the climb attack, because he was a product of her devil fruit. But then again, the homies that she makes might actually be something that endure beyond the life of the fruit user from the Soul fruit. But aside what happens from Zeus, Vegapunk might be able to make further modifications to the climb attack where Nami would be able to store a lot more black balls and different storm spheres, so even if she doesn't have Zeus, the ability for her to use the climb attack and form even larger clouds and weather-based attacks might improve all the more, providing an even greater and aggressive cloud of lightning, similar to the skills of Enel through the use of his Gorogoro no Mi fruit. But Nami would be able to use the skills either through her climb attack or through her continued partnership with Zeus. Another thing to consider is that Vegapunk might be even to further modify the climb attack where Nami would gain control over the local weather, or even allow the climb attack to act on its own, especially if Zeus is able to maintain his role in begin living inside the Climattack, which would allow them to move to any place that they want through Nami's kinda climatary sorcery, something that was not even dreamed about when Usopp first made the Climattack itself. And this not only further improves Nami's role as the navigator on the ship, but it also really gives her a major upgrade to be effective in battle. So as we can see, Dr. Vegapunk would be of immense help in improving the Straw Hats' technology, allowing them to further improve their weapons, expand their combat styles, and even just make it a lot easier for them to move around the globe as they're striving to find that last island, and also be the crew that helps Luffy become the next king of the pirates. But with all that said, my friends, we'd love to know what you think about it now. How do you think Vegapunk could help boost the Straw Hats? And are there any other ways? I mean, I know I didn't mention Chopper, and there's a lot of things that maybe he could learn from Vegapunk, or even that Vegapunk could learn from him, because Chopper, after all, does want to become the greatest doctor in the world with the ability to cure any disease. But what specific improvements do you think Vegapunk would make? And also, do you think Vegapunk would offer Devil Fruit-like abilities to the crew? And more importantly, would they take it? Let us know what you think in the comments below. So as we wrap up our video for the day, I want to thank you all so much for watching the video, especially those of you who've hung out with us till to the very end. Be sure you comment any themes or ideas that you'd like to see in future videos. And also, since you made it this far, give us a like and hit that red subscribe button before you head out to take on the rest of your day. Hope to see you all in our next video. Let's keep sailing this giant sea together. Take care.